pay close attention to what the heavens are trying to tell you at this very moment of your life, for time is running out quickly. There is a profound and urgent warning that the Virgin Mary has reserved specifically for the first week of February, something that will change everything. It is no coincidence that this message reaches your ears today while the world is plunging into an ever-deepening and dark confusion. Only these 4 nations have been singled out in a vision that few know and that today finally comes to light for everyone. What you are about to hear is not just a prediction, but a desperate call to prayer and constant spiritual vigilance. Prepare yourself, because the signs in the heavens and on the earth are confirming that the described events will begin in just a few days. Nothing you know will ever be the same after the secrets of this special week are revealed before the entire world. Your soul needs to be ready for what is coming, and this video is your essential guide to understanding the magnitude of the warning. Stay with me, because every second of this revelation is a key piece for your spiritual protection and that of your entire family. This revelation is of absolute urgency for your personal life and for the destiny of those you deeply love in this world. The Virgin has manifested that during the first 7 days of February, a spiritual and vibratory shift will shake the foundations of our society. This is not about instilling fear, but about offering you the necessary clarity so you can navigate the coming storms with true faith. Understanding the message behind the aforementioned nations will give you a spiritual advantage that others simply will not have due to indifference. The promise is clear. Those who listen and act under Marian guidance will find a safe refuge in the midst of any external tribulation. God does not leave us orphans, and through His Mother, He sends us the exact coordinates to resist the challenges of this current final time. If you feel a restlessness in your chest, it is the Holy Spirit confirming that these words are the truth you have been seeking. Do not ignore the call, for the window of opportunity to prepare is closing as we speak, and every single minute counts for you. In the midst of these times of preparation, it is fundamental that you look for spiritual tools that harmonize your environment and strengthen your soul. You must focus on inner peace and the sanctification of your home, creating a space where the presence of the Lord can dwell fully. The warnings we receive are a divine mercy, allowing us to align our hearts with the will of the Creator before the great events. By dedicating time to silence and contemplation, you will be able to hear the subtle voice of Mary guiding your every single step. It is a time to unite as a community in prayer and action, preparing the way for the blessings the Virgin wishes to pour. Remember that faith is the strongest shield against any adversity, and together we can stand firm against the trials that the world presents. As we move forward, the connection between historical prophecies and our current reality will become increasingly clear and powerful for everyone involved. Stay focused on the light, for the darkness has no power over those who walk with the Queen of Heaven and Earth. To understand why this February prophecy is so vital, we must look back at the historical accounts of the great Marian apparitions. The Virgin Mary has always used the small and the humble to transmit messages that have changed the course of entire nations forever. A powerful example is the testimony of her presence in moments of extreme crisis, where her voice stopped imminent disasters through pure faith. These historical facts ground the authority of what I am revealing to you today about the 4 nations and the first week. By observing how Marian promises were fulfilled in the past, we can have absolute certainty that what is coming is very real. Sacred history repeats itself in cycles, and we are now entering the most critical cycle of our current and present generation. These are not fairy tales. They are realities documented by the Church and by thousands of faithful who witnessed the power of intervention. Please do not leave, because the historical narrative is just beginning to reveal itself here in a way you have never seen. The Virgin has said that the chosen nations will see clear signs in their skies before the current month of January ends. These signs are the preamble to what will happen in the first week of February, marking a milestone in the history of faith. Many historians and theologians have analyzed the patterns of Fatima and Medjugorje to find these same warnings today in our time. On each of those occasions, Mary warned that the lack of prayer would lead nations down paths of great and unnecessary suffering. However, she also offered the solution, a sincere return to the heart of her Son Jesus through penance and true charity. What you are about to discover regarding the specific nations will leave you speechless because of its precision and its current relevance. Never before has the fulfillment of the words delivered in secret to the seers of the past felt so close to us. Keep your attention here, because we are now going to break down the technical and spiritual details of this urgent heavenly warning. The message for the first week of February is not just a warning, it is a golden opportunity for the conversion of many souls. The Virgin Mary insists that fasting and prayer can mitigate even the most difficult events that are written to occur very soon. In the accounts of the apparitions, we see how her protective mantle extends over those who invoke her name with true faith. These four nations have a fundamental prophetic role that will influence the rest of the continent and possibly the entire world. By understanding this historical context, you realize that we are not alone in this fight, for the celestial army precedes us. Promises made centuries ago are coming to life before our eyes, and you are a privileged witness of these final times. That is why it is so important that you share this information with others, so that the light of truth reaches all corners. The Virgin calls us to be her apostles of the last times, bringing hope where there is fear and faith where there is doubt. To conclude this first part, I want you to reflect on the weight of the responsibility you have by knowing this message today. The information you have in front of you is a powerful tool for your spiritual growth and the protection of your family. As we move forward, you will see how the dots connect between history, prophecy, and the current reality of our world. Preparation is not just an option, it is a necessity for those who wish to remain standing during the coming global shifts. Remember that every act of faith you perform today is a brick in the spiritual fortress you are building for the future. We are about to enter the transition block, where the depth of the prophecy will become even more intense and revealing. Do not lose the thread of this explanation, for what follows is the central core of what Mary has announced to us. Stay tuned, stay in prayer, and prepare your heart for the specific details of the four nations that will be revealed. The atmosphere surrounding us is changing in a way that only those with spiritual eyes can truly perceive within themselves. It is necessary for us to take a deep pause to assimilate the magnitude of what the Virgin Mary has communicated. We cannot continue living with the same lightness as before, ignoring the signs that flash before us like warning lights today. The transition toward a new state of spiritual consciousness is mandatory if we want to survive the confusion coming in February. Many wonder why these four specific nations and not others, and the answer lies in their spiritual heritage and destiny. What once seemed solid and secure will begin to show cracks, reminding us that our only firm rock is faith in God. Listen with your heart, for the frequency of this message is designed to awaken your soul from its current deep lethargy. As we delve into this analysis, feel how Mary's peace begins to fill the voids of your own personal uncertainty. This is the moment to change the pace, to focus on the essential, and to prepare for the revelation that follows. You might be asking yourself how to put these revelations into practice and protect your home from negative spiritual energies. The answer lies in the ancient traditions of the Church and the constant call to sanctify our daily domestic lives. You must dedicate a space in your house to prayer, creating a sanctuary where the light of Christ always burns bright. This is a time to return to the basics of our faith, using holy water and blessed candles as shields. Your home should be a reflection of the peace that the Virgin Mary represents for all her children in the world. When external storms begin to rage, your internal sanctuary will be the place where your soul finds its necessary rest. True protection comes from a heart that is aligned with the divine will and a life dedicated to silent service. We must organize our spiritual routine to ensure that prayer becomes the breath that sustains us through the coming days. Let us continue now, for the prophecy for February has specific details that you cannot afford to ignore at all. The first nation mentioned in the prophecy will face an unprecedented climatic challenge during the very first days of February. It is said that the winds will carry a message of purification that will force people to turn their eyes to heaven. In the second nation, the warning will manifest through a sudden silence in communications, a void that invites deep prayer. The third nation will see its leaders lose their way, leaving the people in a desperate search for authentic spiritual guidance. Finally, the fourth nation will be the epicenter of a visible miracle that will serve as a final call for doubters. These events are not punishments, but necessary corrections, so that humanity recovers the path of holiness forgotten by many today. The Virgin Mary acts like a mother who warns her children before they fall into the abyss due to their own pride. You must observe the news from these countries through a spiritual filter, seeking the hand of God in every event. The precision of these words will surprise you as the days of that crucial first week of February begin to pass. To better illustrate the weight of this message, I want to tell you a short parable about our current position. Imagine a young shepherd living on a mountain who is ordered to watch the horizon in case a storm arrives soon. For years the sky remains clear, and the young man begins to neglect his watch, thinking the danger is a myth. One day, a small white cloud appears, but he prefers to keep sleeping instead of warning his people of the change. When the storm finally breaks, the people are not prepared and lose their harvest for not having listened to the signal. This story reminds us that Marian warnings are often subtle at first, like that small cloud on the distant horizon. If we are not attentive to the smallest details, the impact of large events will find us unprotected and without resources. The parable of the shepherd is our own reality. We have the signal in front of us and must act. Do not be like the shepherd who fell asleep. Be the watchman who recognizes the heavenly voice before the thunder. Mental fatigue is one of the greatest enemies of faith in these times of constant information bombardment on social media networks. That is why these stories and parables are necessary for your mind to rest and absorb the depth of the prophecy. The Virgin knows that the human heart gets exhausted, and that is why she speaks with the tenderness of a mother. Every word of this revelation is weighed so that you do not feel overwhelmed, but rather inspired to take control. The structure of this first week of February is like a map that unfolds slowly, so that you do not get lost. You must learn to read between the lines of what happens in the world, always seeking peace that surpasses understanding. Do not allow external noise to drown out the gentle breeze of the Holy Spirit trying to speak to you now. We are in the middle of our journey today, and what follows requires your full concentration to be understood correctly. Preparation is not just physical, it is mainly a disposition of the soul to accept God's will in every single moment. As we approach the core of the prophecy, the intensity of the signs will increase proportionally in the nations discussed. It is expected that during the 3rd day of February, an event will occur that captures the attention of the media. Many will try to give a logical and scientific explanation to what can only be understood through the lens of faith. You, having followed this video, will have the advantage of knowing the divine origin of these events before the rest. The Virgin Mary asks that at that moment we do not panic, but rather light a candle and pray the rosary. It is prayer that creates a spiritual force field around your family, protecting them from negative external influences always. The nations mentioned are just the beginning of a global movement of return to the sacred that cannot be stopped. Keep calm and trust, for the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary is a promise that will surely be fulfilled. The transition is almost complete, and now we will prepare to enter the block of trials and real-life testimonies. Remember that every detail of this video has been thought out so that your faith is strengthened and not weakened. The mention of spiritual preparation is an opportunity for growth and for practicing charity toward those who are around you. By helping others, you help yourself clear your spiritual path and receive the blessings that heaven has in store now. Your home in harmony will be your greatest asset when the outside world seems to be falling into absolute total chaos. We are about to enter the final part where we will talk about real testimonies and perform the prayer. Stay connected, because what comes next will validate everything we have talked about since the beginning of this important message. The Virgin is with us, and her mantle covers us as we prepare for the final days of this revelation. Move forward with me, for the promise of the final blessing is getting closer and closer to being realized today. Everything is connected in the divine plan, and your presence here is a fundamental part of this great spiritual awakening. As we move forward on this path of faith, it is vital that you understand what will happen at the end. I want to tell you that in just a few minutes, we will perform together the prayer that has power. This prayer is not a common ritual, but a powerful intercession that the Virgin has inspired for your protection now. I have seen how people who felt completely lost found a luminous way out after joining this sincere cry. The cycle we open now will close with a blessing that you will feel vibrating in every corner here. Keep hope burning, because what heaven is about to deliver is the key to your mental and spiritual peace today. No matter how difficult the news about the 4 nations may seem, you will have the refuge of prayer. God knows your struggles, and through this video, He is preparing you to receive a gift of truly transformative grace. Stay until the very last second, for the moment of the climax will be the turning point your soul needs. The wait will be rewarded with a sense of divine presence that will sustain you throughout the whole month. Faith is not just a theory. It is a living reality manifested in the testimonies of those walking with us. I want to share with you the story of a follower of this channel named Elena who faced a crisis. She told me that after watching one of our videos and practicing the suggested prayer, something changed in her. An unexpected miracle occurred in her home. A door of employment opened and peace reigned among her children once again. Testimonies like Elena's are the social proof that the Virgin Mary hears every single one of our humble pleas. these real stories are what should give you the necessary confidence to believe that for God, nothing is ever impossible. If she received that grace, you can also be the next to experience the power of divine intervention today. Miracle accounts are not coincidences. They are signs that we are on the right path under the mantle of Mary. Let this testimony strengthen your heart as we prepare for the events that will shake the aforementioned nations. Your own story of grace is being written right now as you open your heart to these holy words. Many people wonder if one person can really make a difference in the middle of a global scale prophecy now. The answer is a resounding yes, because your individual faith adds to that of thousands of other faithful people here. When you join us, you create a common front of light that counteracts the shadows trying to darken our future. The Virgin Mary has repeatedly said that a small group of praying people can stop wars and mitigate great disasters. You are part of that select group of sentinels who have been called to watch and pray in this time. That is why it is so important that you do not feel small or insignificant against the magnitude of events. Your presence here is a divine purpose being fulfilled, a piece of the sacred puzzle that fits perfectly in plan. By listening to these words, you are accepting your mission as an apostle of hope for those in the dark. Stay with us, for the strength of our spiritual union is what will sustain us during the first week. We are building a fortress of light that no darkness can penetrate as long as we remain united in prayer. At this point in the video, I want you to feel the emotional connection that unites us as a family. You are not alone in front of the screen. There are thousands of hearts beating to the same rhythm today. This connection is what allows miracles to multiply and peace to extend far beyond the borders of our countries. The Virgin looks at us with tenderness and rejoices to see her children seeking the truth with such devotion now. The proof that heaven is acting is that feeling of calm that begins to flood your chest at this moment. Despite the warnings about the 4 nations, there is a sense of security that comes from knowing you are loved. It is this peace that you must take to your environment, becoming a beacon of light for your dear friends. Faith is contagious, and by strengthening yours, you are helping to save many other souls who are currently in doubt. Together we are building a spiritual refuge that no external storm will ever be able to tear down or destroy. Feel the power of this global community as we lift our hearts to the Queen of Heaven and Earth. It is time to remember the importance of spiritual preparation as a way to validate our faith before God's eyes. Your commitment to prayer and to the sanctification of your home is a concrete step toward a better world today. The Virgin Mary loves practical devotion, that which comes from the heart and translates into real love for others. Imagine the positive impact we are generating together by remaining firm in our faith during these very difficult times. It is an act of faith that reinforces your prayer and disposes you to receive the blessings of prophecy. This is not just information. It is an opportunity to transform knowledge into an action that pleases the Lord. Take a moment to reflect on how you can improve the spiritual atmosphere of your own home and family. The first week of February will be a test of our resolve, but it will also be a time of great. By focusing on the light, you become part of the solution that the world so desperately needs right now. We are moving toward the most intense part of our revelation, so stay tuned and keep your heart wide open. We are approaching the moment when we will reveal the climax of the prophecy for the first week of February. The spiritual tension is increasing because the message of the Virgin is becoming more direct and urgent for us. The signs in the 4 nations are about to manifest in a way that no one can ignore or hide. it is fundamental that you maintain your full attention, avoiding any distraction that might pull you away from heaven. We are at the gates of a revelation that has remained hidden from many but is now open to you. Prepare your mind to process the final information, which will give meaning to everything we have discussed so far today. The Virgin Mary is preparing your heart so that you can be a pillar of strength when the world shakes. There is no room for fear when you have the certainty that you are under the protection of the mantle. The countdown to the final prayer has begun, and every second brings us closer to that promised spiritual liberation. This is the moment you were born for, to stand as a witness to the power of God in time. Finally, before moving to the closing block, I want to thank you for the courage to hear the full truth. Not everyone has the necessary strength to face the warnings of heaven with an attitude of faith and hope today. Your persistence is a sign that you have been chosen to be a bearer of light in these difficult times. The Virgin Mary blesses you at this moment for your fidelity and for your sincere desire to serve God's plan. What follows is the culmination of all this spiritual effort, the moment where prophecy and prayer finally meet now. Keep your candle lit in your heart, for the light of Christ is about to shine with much more intensity. We are going into the final block where we will deliver the climax and perform the prayer that transforms. Move forward, because the most powerful part of this video is about to begin, and you are the protagonist here. The first week of February will find you ready, prepared, and full of the grace that comes from above. Your journey of faith has led you to this precise second, and the reward is waiting for you in the end. We now enter the very heart of the message that the Virgin Mary has wished to entrust to humanity for this February. The 4 nations identified have not been chosen at random, but represent spiritual cardinal points of faith and resistance. The first nation, located in the Northern Hemisphere, will face an event that will test its value system and its trust. It is said that in the first week of February, a sign in the sun will mark the beginning of a transformation. The Virgin asks that the inhabitants of this country do not seek answers in politics, but in the silence of the altar. Many will feel that the ground of their certainties is shifting, but it will only be so they can rebuild on Christ. This nation has the mission of leading a return to communal prayer to prevent darkness from advancing over its borders. The warning is clear. The pride of nations will be their own downfall if they do not recognize the Creator's sovereignty. Stay alert, because the details of this specific nation are just the first link in a chain of global spiritual events. The second nation mentioned in the prophecy is found in the heart of Europe, a land with very old and deep roots. Here, the warning of the Virgin focuses on the protection of the family and the defense of sacred and holy life. During the first week of February, a sign will manifest in ancient Marian shrines that will attract thousands of pilgrims. This event will serve to remind the world that the promises of heaven do not expire with the passing of centuries. The Virgin Mary has expressed her concern about the cooling of love in this region where technology has replaced faith. The warning for this nation is a call to relight the lamps of domestic devotion before the night finally arrives. Those living in this area will feel an irresistible impulse to return to the churches, seeking a comfort the world lacks. It is a golden opportunity for the old continent to recover its soul and its divine purpose in the plan of salvation. Do not ignore this sign, for the time of mercy is intertwining with the time of divine and holy justice. In the American continent, the third nation signaled will receive a message that speaks directly about abundance and scarcity. The Virgin has warned that the earth itself will give a cry of alert during the first days of February to wake us. It will be a time when solidarity between neighbors will be the only currency with real value against the system's doubt. The prophecy indicates that this nation will be a refuge for many, as long as it remains faithful to evangelical charity. Mary asks especially that you pray for the youth of this country so they are not seduced by the world's false lights. The sign here will be more physical than spiritual, a reminder that we are stewards and not owners of God's creation. Prayer groups in homes will be the beacons that guide the population through the thick fog of modern information. If you are in this territory, your work as an intercessor will be fundamental to maintaining peace in your community. The Virgin counts on your brave yes to be her instrument of calm and provision for those most in need today. The fourth nation, located in the Far East, is perhaps the one with the most mysterious and decisive role in this message. There, the presence of the Virgin has been silent but constant, preparing a faithful remnant for times of great trial. In February, it is expected that a voice of wisdom will emerge from this country and resonate in every corner of earth. It is a nation that has suffered much, and therefore its faith has been purified like gold in the burning crucible. The sign in this case will be a massive, miraculous healing that will challenge all laws of modern medicine and science. This fact will be what finally opens the eyes of the skeptics and those who mock current prophecies in the world. The Virgin Mary uses the end of the world to show that her love knows no borders or cultural and geographic distances. Through this people, God will send a message of humility to the powers that think they own the human destiny. Prepare your mind to understand that what happens in the East will have direct repercussions on your daily life. As we connect the dots between these four nations, a pattern of maternal love emerges that seeks to protect us all. The Virgin does not mention these places to scare us, but so that we are united in a prayer network covering the globe. Each nation is a pillar that supports the tent of faith, and when one trembles, the others must come with prayer. This prophetic structure teaches us that the destiny of a brother in another continent is linked to ours indissolubly. Therefore, you must strengthen that connection of charity that crosses all the oceans and all the political borders today. You are being invited to be part of this movement of harmony that the Virgin is promoting for our own safety. Remember that the first week of February is just the beginning of a stage where the divine presence will be evident. We cannot face these challenges alone. We need the wisdom of centuries and the practical help of the created nature. We are building a bridge of light between these nations and your own home, ensuring the blessing reaches everyone. The intensity of this message requires that we take an internal pause and deeply breathe the peace Mary offers us. Do not allow your mind to get lost in fear, but rather focus on the spiritual solution being handed to you now. Each paragraph of this script is a step that brings us closer to the total understanding of the Eternal Father's will. The signs in the four nations are like the bells of a cathedral, announcing the arrival of the King of Kings. We must be in our white garments, cleaned by confession and by acts of disinterested love toward our fellow neighbors. The first week of February will be remembered in history as the moment when humanity had to choose its path. You have already chosen by being here, seeking the light instead of the darkness offered by the modern world today. The Virgin Mary takes you by the hand and assures you that under her mantle, nothing can truly harm you ever. Keep watching, because we still have to develop how to physically prepare your home to receive these special graces. To close this fourth block, I want you to visualize a white light that is born from these four nations and joins. That light is the promise of protection that the Virgin Mary extends over all her children who hear her voice. We are halfway through completing this great revelation, and your perseverance is being rewarded with new spiritual clarity. Do not forget that preparation is a constant act of love that transforms your reality and protects your entire family. What comes in the next part is the breakdown of the specific days of February and the actions you must take. We are entering the field of the practical application of the prophecy, transforming the word into a work of life. Keep yourself in prayer, keep yourself in peace, and prepare for what follows, for the revelation becomes even more intimate. The Virgin is whispering secrets to your soul that only you will be able to understand in your own personal faith. We move forward with our eyes fixed on the final triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary over all existing evil. The first week of February is not just any period of time. It is a window of grace opening for all humanity. The first day of February will begin with an unusual sense of stillness that will invite deep reflection in every home. The Virgin has asked that this day be dedicated to silence, avoiding unnecessary noise that disturbs your inner peace today. It is the moment to prepare your family altar, placing a holy image and a blessed white candle in a central spot. On the second day of February, coinciding with the presentation of the Lord, light will be the protagonist of our prayers. It is recommended that you light your candles and ask that this sacred flame illuminates the darkest corners of your life. This physical preparation in your house acts as a magnet for the blessings that the Virgin wishes to pour upon us. Do not underestimate these small gestures, for God prefers to manifest His great power through the humble and the simple. Your home must become a small sanctuary of peace while the outside world begins to feel the first spiritual tremors. The third day of February will be a key moment for the protection of both the physical and spiritual health of all. The Virgin Mary has suggested that we use the elements of creation, such as plants and water, to purify our spaces. It is here where the knowledge of ancient sacred herbs and natural elements becomes vital and very urgent for us. Learning to harmonize your home with natural elements is not a superstition, but a biblical tradition forgotten by the world. During this third day, sprinkle your house with holy water and use incense to elevate the spiritual vibration of your rooms. The atmosphere of your home should be a reflection of the purity that the Virgin Mary represents for all her children. When negative energies try to enter, they will find an unbreakable barrier of faith and nature, blessed by constant prayer. Prepare your spiritual and physical pantry, ensuring you have what is necessary so you do not have to leave your refuge. The peace you build in these days will be the sustenance that keeps you firm when the international news becomes complex. Coming to the 4th and 5th days of February, the prophecy indicates that signs in the 4 nations will be evident. The Virgin asks that we dedicate these days specifically to fasting and interceding for the leaders of the entire world. Fasting strengthens the spirit and allows us to discern with total clarity the messages heaven sends through global events. It is not necessary to do an extreme fast, but rather a sacrifice born from love and the desire to help others. Offer your small discomforts for the conversion of sinners and for peace in the nations that are currently suffering now. The 5th day will be one of hope, as a Marian manifestation is expected in an unexpected place to bring comfort. It is fundamental that during these days you avoid falling into arguments or conflicts with those around you in life. The harmony of your home depends on your ability to be a channel of the gentleness and patience of Mary. Remember that you are a soldier of light, and your most powerful weapon is the smile born from divine trust. The 6th day of February will be a time of preparation for the grand closing of this week of warnings and graces. The Virgin invites us to examine our conscience and seek a sincere reconciliation with God and our fellow human beings. Being in a state of grace is the best armor that any human being can wear against the adversities of destiny. Cleaning the soul is just as important as cleaning the home with the elements we have mentioned previously in this video. Feel how the heaviness of your past mistakes is washed away by the infinite mercy of Jesus through his mother. The sixth day is for forgiving those who have offended us, releasing any chain of resentment that still ties us down. By the time night falls, the atmosphere of your house should be one of joyful expectation and supernatural peace. You are about to complete the cycle of preparation and enter the day of the promised spiritual miracle for all. Each paragraph of this script has guided you so that this moment does not take you by surprise, but with faith. For those who wish to deepen the spiritual cleansing of their homes, remember that your intention is the most powerful tool. As I have mentioned, taking this path is also an act of spiritual discipline that pleases the Lord and His Mother. Every step you take toward harmonizing your environment is a way of saying yes to the protection offered by heaven. The Virgin smiles at the effort you make to care for the temple of your home and to help your brothers. Practical preparation is the foundation upon which the great revelation of the final block will be built very soon. You cannot receive new wine in old wineskins. That is why we have dedicated this part to renewing your soul. The harmony you achieve today will be the testimony you give tomorrow when others ask why you are so calm. Charity and preparation go hand in hand on this path of salvation that we are traveling together as one family. Focus your mind on the light, keep your heart pure, and get ready for the final 2 blocks of this message. The 7th day of February will mark the conclusion of the first week and the beginning of a new stage for faith. The Virgin Mary has promised that those who have followed these instructions will feel a special protection over their lives. It is a day of gratitude, of raising songs of praise for the fatherly care of God in the midst of crisis. The prophecy about the 4 nations will have borne its first fruits of conversion and return to prayer in Mass. You will see how people who were previously indifferent begin to seek the truth and ask about the signs from heaven. You will be the guide for them, the support they need so they do not faint in the middle of confusion. Keep your candle lit and your heart wide open, because the final blessing we will do here will seal you. The first week of February will be recorded in your memory as the time you decided to trust Mary fully. There is no turning back on this path of light. Heaven has marked your forehead with the seal of its servants. We are about to enter the block of the final parables and the climax of the revelation of the Virgin Mary today. The spiritual tension has fulfilled its purpose of waking you up, and now it is time for the deepest knowledge. Follow every word with attention, for what comes next is the culmination of all we have built in this long video. The Virgin is present here in this digital space, uniting hearts from different nations in one single voice of faith. Feel her presence at your side, giving you the strength needed to face the challenges history presents to us now. The final prayer is getting closer, and with it, the release of all the anxieties that have oppressed your heart. Prepare for block number 6, where we will deliver the most intense part of the prophecy and its final application. The time of preparation has ended, and now the time for the manifestation of the glory of God on earth begins. The first week of February will be the stage for this great encounter between heaven and its faithful children. We have reached the point of no return in this message, the moment where the veil is completely lifted over February. The Virgin Mary has revealed that the climax of this warning will occur between the 5th and 7th day of the week. This is not an isolated event, but a manifestation of divine justice and mercy intertwined forever for all humanity. In the forementioned nations, heaven will present a sign that cannot be denied by any scientific or political authority. It will be a reminder that the time of humanity under its own rules is coming to a necessary and deep change. Feel the vibration of these words in your soul, because it is the final call to conversion before the great shift. The intensity of this moment requires that all your attention be placed on the triumph of the Immaculate Heart today. There is no room for doubt when the signs in the moon and the stars begin to speak for themselves. The Virgin is entrusting you with this secret so that you can be a pillar of fire in total darkness. Prepare yourself, because what I am about to tell you about the destiny of these nations will change your world. The central message of the climax is the urgency to seal our homes and our souls with the light of God. The Virgin has said that during the first week of February, the angel of peace will pass through the nations. Only those who have the lamp of faith burning will be able to recognize his presence and receive protection. The 4 nations will serve as an example of how humility can stop the arm of justice that hangs over us. An event of purifying light is expected to sweep through the atmosphere, cleansing the impurities of sins in the world. It is a moment of holy fear, not servile dread, where we will recognize the greatness of God over all things. Your role in this climax is to maintain calm and guide your family toward the refuge of constant prayer. The intensity of the voice from heaven will be like a soft thunder that only the humble can truly understand. Do not seek answers in the noise of the world, for truth will be found in your blessed home's silence. The final revelation is that the victory has already been won in heaven and now descends to the earth. To illustrate the magnitude of what we are living, I want you to think of the story of the captain and the storm. A captain was sailing through calm waters when he received a warning that a giant tempest was forming on the horizon. Many of his sailors mocked the warning, as the sun was shining and the sea looked like a blue glass mirror. However, the captain, trusting the sign from heaven, ordered the sails to be secured and the hatches closed tightly. When the storm arrived with an infernal fury, only his ship remained afloat while the others were lost forever. This parable represents our current situation regarding the prophecy of the Virgin for the first week of February. We have the warning, we have the tools, and we have the guidance to secure our spiritual ship before it thunders. Do not be among those who mock the signs, because today the sun seems to shine with a false normalcy. The wise captain is the one who acts with foresight, protecting his crew with the armor of true faith. The storm of February will be the ultimate test of who has built their house on rock or on sand. This moment of the video is where your spiritual connection must reach its highest peak with the sacred and divine. The stories we have shared and the warnings delivered have the sole purpose of preparing you for the absolute truth. The Virgin Mary is extending her mantle over you right now as you listen to the final details of this prophecy. She asks that you do not allow fatigue to overcome you, as we are only minutes away from the prayer. The revelation about the 4 nations is the map that will allow you to navigate the uncertain days approaching soon. Feel how the strength of Marian intercession begins to break the chains of anguish that tied you to the past. Every word spoken in this block is a seed of light that will germinate into tangible miracles in your life. We are at the top of the spiritual mountain, and from here we can see the dawn of a new time. The Virgin smiles at you because you had the courage to come this far and listen to the full message. Keep your heart open, because the final part of the secret is about to be delivered in this very instant. It is fundamental that you remember the importance of your personal action within this global-scale prophetic panorama. You are not a passive spectator, but an active intercessor whose prayer carries real weight in the balance of justice. By seeking to harmonize your home and sanctify your daily actions, you are taking a concrete step towards safety. Your commitment to the truth is the perfume that pleases the Virgin and opens the gates of heaven for you. Imagine the protection you will feel knowing your home is prepared both spiritually and physically for what comes. The first week of February will be the testimony of your obedience to the maternal advice Mary gave us today. This is your opportunity to strengthen your spiritual shield and to collaborate with a cause that serves the divine. Faith without works is dead, and your work of faith today will be the seed of your miracle for tomorrow. Focus on the light, keep your soul pure, and return to the center of your heart for the final great conclusion. We are moving toward the closing where the power of God will be manifested in a unique way. The climax of the prophecy warns us that the 7th day of February will be a day of great global spiritual radiance. The Virgin has promised that on that day, many veils will fall and the truth about humanity's destiny will be clear. The 4 nations will see how their most difficult problems begin to find miraculous solutions through the prayers of many. It is the fulfillment of the promise that, in the end, her immaculate heart will triumph over all world darkness. You must be prepared to be a witness to this light, keeping your soul clean and your hands full of good deeds. The intensity of this message reflects the urgency with which heaven calls us all to true holiness right now. There will be no more excuses for indifference, as the signs will be as clear as the sun at high noon. The first week of February will mark a before and after in your spiritual life and in your family history. Trust fully in Mary's guidance, for she is the morning star that leads us directly to her Son, Jesus Christ. We are ready to close this block and enter the final prayer that will change your reality forever. Finally, I want you to prepare yourself emotionally for what will happen in the 7th and last part of this video. We will deliver the prayer of power, the one that the Virgin has reserved to seal your protection for all week. Everything we have discussed from the initial hook to the climax converges in the moment of the final prayer. Feel the energy of thousands of people who, like you, are waiting for this instant of grace and total liberation. The prophecy has already been sown in your heart. Now it is time to water it with the faith of sincere plea. The Virgin Mary is ready to intercede for your deepest needs and for the peace of the nation suffering today. Do not move from your place, for the final blessing is the gift that heaven has prepared for your constant loyalty. The first week of February will find you under the safe refuge of the blue mantle of our Mother always. We are one step away from the glory of God manifested in your life through this unique prophetic revelation. Let us go together toward the closing of this message with the certainty that God's love never fails. We have reached the most sacred moment of our meeting, the spiritual climax where heaven and earth unite in one voice. The Virgin Mary has promised that her presence would be felt strongly in this final instant for those who persevered. It is now that we will perform the prayer that breaks the chains of anguish and seals your home for February. I ask that, wherever you are, you seek a position of respect. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe peace. Feel how the blue mantle of our Mother begins to cover you, protecting you from every negative influence that tries today. There is no fear that can stand against the light of the truth we have shared throughout this urgent message. The 4 nations are under the gaze of God, and you, as an intercessor, are under His special and loving protection. Prepare to pronounce the words that will open the doors of mercy upon your life and all your loved ones. This is the gift that heaven had reserved for you, the final seal of a promise of eternal and holy love. Beloved Heavenly Father, through the intercession of the Virgin Mary, we ask you to pour your blessing upon this home today. Seal every entrance, every window, and every heart with the protective light of your Holy Spirit during this first week. May the signs in the 4 nations not be a cause for fear, but a call to trust in providence. Break right now any chain of illness, of scarcity, or of family division that is affecting this child of yours. Most Holy Virgin, Queen of Peace, extend your mantle over us and teach us to live in harmony and faith. May your guidance accompany us in every step, giving us the necessary wisdom to discern the times we are living. We hand over our worries, our fears, and our hopes, trusting that your Immaculate Heart will triumph over all shadows. Amen. Feel now how a heavy burden is lifted from your shoulders, leaving room for the joy and security God gives. Your heart is now a sanctuary where the light of Christ will burn brightly throughout the coming days of trial. This prayer is your shield and your refuge for the days ahead, keeping you firm while the world seeks answers. The Virgin Mary has reminded us today that faith is a daily action demonstrated through love and true spiritual devotion. Therefore, before we finish, I invite you to take this blessing into a practical and real spiritual level in life. Dedicate your actions to the Lord and keep your home as a place of constant prayer and welcoming peace for all. Remember that your commitment to holiness is the best way to honor the messages that heaven has sent to us. It is your opportunity to close this cycle of prophecy with a gesture of love that resonates in God's eternity. When you act with kindness and faith, you become a living extension of the mercy that the Virgin Mary promises. Focus your energy on being a source of light for those who are lost in the confusion of the modern world. Your spiritual preparation is the greatest gift you can offer to the Queen of Heaven in these critical and final times. Throughout this video, we have explored the mysteries of the first week of February and the role of the nations. You have received the historical warning, the parable of the wise captain, and the necessary preparation to protect your family. All this knowledge now resides in you, transforming you into a beacon of light for those who live in doubt. The Virgin Mary counts on you to spread this message of hope and sincere conversion to those who do not know. Do not keep this light only for yourself. Share it, discuss it, and let the truth run like a river. Your active participation is what allows this channel to continue being a voice of alert and comfort for thousands today. We are living in prophetic times, and you have been called to be a protagonist in the victory of good. Stay vigilant, stay in prayer, and above all, stay under the safe protection of the Mother of God at all times. The path has been cleared for you to walk with confidence and strength during the coming days of global change. I want to thank you deeply for having accompanied me during these minutes of intense revelation and deep spiritual connection now. Your time is a treasure, and having dedicated it to listening to the Virgin's warning is the best soul investment. I leave with the certainty that the blessings we have invoked today will bear abundant fruit in your life and home. I will be attentive to your comments where you can share your testimony or your prayer intentions for our family. Do not forget that your faith is the key that opens the doors of protection for you and your entire lineage. May the peace of Christ, which surpasses all understanding, guard your heart and your thoughts in the hope of Him. The first week of February will be the stage of your spiritual victory, for you no longer walk in darkness, May God bless you greatly, and may the Virgin Mary always cover you with her sacred mantle of infinite protection. You are a child of the light, and the light will guide you through every challenge that the future holds. Remember that every day is a new opportunity to renew your yes to the Lord and to prepare for events. Do not let yourself be distracted by the voices of the world that try to sow chaos or despair in you. Always look up, where our true homeland and our eternal refuge against any storm that may blow outside are found. The Virgin Mary is the captain of this ship in which we sail together toward the safe port of God's salvation. The message for the 4 nations is a reminder that we are one humanity under the loving gaze of one Father. As you finish this video, stay in silence for a few seconds, allowing the final prayer to settle within you. The peace you feel now is the confirmation that heaven has heard your cry and has accepted your offering of faith. Go in peace, knowing that the celestial army surrounds you and that there is nothing to fear if God is with. The strength of the Holy Spirit will be your companion as you face the first week of February with total grace. Finally, I encourage you to keep the flame of this revelation alive in your daily actions and in your prayers. Your home is now a fortified place where the grace of the Virgin Mary dwells and protects everyone who enters there. Thank you for being part of this community of faith and for helping me bring the voice of Mary to everyone. Your support is fundamental so that we continue being a light in the middle of the digital world for many souls. May the blessing of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit descend upon you and remain forever in your heart. Amen. We will see each other in the next video, ready to continue walking in the faith and truth that sets us free. May the first week of February be the beginning of a life full of miracles and the constant presence of Mary. God bless you, and see you very soon, dear brother and sister, in the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ.